escalated into violent clashes. At one point, the Kazakh president ordering security forces to shoot to kill without warning. Let's discuss with Washington Post columnist Josh Rogin. He's the author of Chaos Under Heaven: America, China, and the Battle for the 21st Century. Good morning, Josh. Always glad that you could join us. In a column this week, you wrote that Vladimir Putin could not afford crises in both Kazakhstan and Ukraine, and you've called for the West to take advantage of the instability in the former Soviet Republic. Why is Kazakhstan so important to Putin, and how does the West use it to slow his aggression in Ukraine?
Well, Boris, as you pointed out, we don't know exactly everything that's going on the ground in Kazakhstan. The internet's been cut off. There's no good media outlets that are left to remain. But what we do know is that Putin's got a problem on his southern border. What we do know is that he sent 2,500 troops to help the president of Kazakhstan crush protesters. And that should tell us something, is that he really can't afford to let this country on his southern border get out of his grasp. And as Natasha just pointed out, we're entering into tense negotiations with Moscow over Ukraine. And that should change Putin's calculus. And what I argued in the Washington Post is very simple, that we should make it tougher for him to have his cake and eat it too. Putin's going to try to crush the protests in Kazakhstan and start a war in Ukraine. Well, that's a lot, right? And can he do it? Well, we should make sure that he doesn't try. And we can do that by taking a tough line in negotiations and giving the Ukraine military a lot of weapons that they need, not just weapons, other things they need to resist a Russian invasion. And, the situation on the ground has changed. And that's a tragedy for Kazakhstan, but it's an opportunity for the West and for Ukraine to show Putin that he can't fight two wars on two fronts and that he really shouldn't try.
Josh, in that piece, you outlined an array of military weapons and support that the United States could provide Ukraine. I'm not going to list them all now. It's a long list. But you pointed out that so far what the U.S. has supplied in recent months is essentially 2 patrol boats. Why do you think that there's such a hesitation from the United States to arm Ukraine when clearly Vladimir Putin has aggressive intentions on that border?
Right. I think it goes back to what Natasha just reported so excellently, is that the Biden administration is scared of what Putin's going to do back, right? They're afraid of escalating even further. They don't want to leave their European colleagues in a situation where Russia attacks Europe because we helped Ukraine. And I get that, right? That makes sense on paper. But what it leads to in reality is us just pulling all of our punches and not standing up to Russian aggression and coming up with this crazy calculus. Oh, well, let's give them 3 helicopters and not 6 helicopters, or we'll give them the good radar but not the great radar because we don't want to anger Putin anymore, which is sort of like a crazy way to think about protecting the things that we believe in and standing up for our allies. So again, what I argue is let's just see Putin for what he is a thug who's trying to threaten us into giving him concessions, and then let's realize that his position is not really as strong as he wants us to think it is, and then let's strengthen our position and stand up for our allies. And by the way, we could also stand up for the things that we believe in Kazakhstan if we wanted to, which is to fight corruption and to support the people in their struggle for better agency and better rights, which neither of the 2 warring factions in the government there are providing them. But, that takes energy. It takes the Biden administration to put more time and effort into getting involved in this region. It doesn't seem like they really want to do that. And, we'll see what happens when the Biden team gets to Geneva to meet with the Russians on Monday. And that's when this will come to a head. But, my 2 cents is, don't give in to Putin's threats and realize that, all of these strongman dictators talk big, but eventually they all eventually die. And that means that we should stand with the people in these countries, not the rulers.
Conceding to a bully often simply emboldens them. You mentioned energy, and I want to ask you about a specific kind of energy, and that is oil and the relationship that Russia has with Germany and the way that Putin has tried to drive a wedge in NATO by leveraging his energy deal with Germany, the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. I don't get the sense that Germany, as a part of NATO, as a key Western ally in this united front to keep Russia out of Ukraine, is eager to shoot itself in the foot by shutting down this pipeline in order to protect Ukrainian sovereignty. Is that a fair assessment?
Well, yeah, that's exactly right, Boris. I mean, we've had this crazy situation in Washington for 2 years where we're trying to tell the Germans not to do the deal with the Russians on the pipeline, but the Germans are like, no, we want the pipeline. And we're like, no, you can't have the pipeline. And they're like, no, don't tell us what we can and can't have. We want the pipeline. And so it's a little awkward to be telling our ally that they shouldn't do something, and who are we to tell them they shouldn't do it? But the implications are clear that if the Russian-German pipeline called Nord Stream 2 goes into effect, then Ukraine will suffer. Russia will have more power over Europe, and it's just going to be a real problem that we can never fix, and that Russia's going to have more power over us than they did before. And that seems like a really bad thing. And we'll have to see how the Biden administration and Congress deal with that.
Yeah, it seems like a simple schoolyard lesson, right? If you keep giving the bully what he wants, he's only going to want more. We got to leave the conversation there. Josh Rogin, as always, great to have you. Thanks.
Anytime.